You're watching ABC 7 News at 4, starting with First Alert Weather.
Good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday afternoon. A few clouds out there, not much rainfall. Right now, some showers into central Florida. The chances, though, will be increasing later on this evening. All eyes, obviously, on Florence, which is located about 450 miles east-southeast of Myrtle Beach, heading toward the west-northwest. This is the visible satellite imagery from 8 o'clock this morning. It's still a major storm, but it is weakening, and it is weakening. The eye of the storm, you can see as we move this along, not nearly as impressive as it once was yesterday. But the point is that it is getting into a bigger storm. What we mean by that is the wind field is expanding. Over 100 miles out from the center, we have 70-mile-an-hour winds. And so it's only going to get bigger, too, as it goes through what possibly could be another stage of getting stronger throughout the day on Thursday before it gets close to the Carolina coast late Thursday night and Friday morning as a possibility of a major storm. Now, here it is on a different vantage point. You can see the satellite imagery color enhanced showing that deep red around the center, kind of eroding on the western edge, meaning there may be a little bit of shear going on that western side or some drier air slipping in. It's still moving on a northwest course now, but expected to turn more west-northwest as high pressure builds in behind it and over the top of it, for that matter. Pressures have been coming up slightly over the past couple of hours, but for the most part, it looks like it's going to gain some strength and become a 4 again tomorrow. There's a possibility of that. And then all the models change as far as where it's going to go after that. So on looks like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it'll be over the southeast United States. You can see right there from the imagery, 120-mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 150 right there off the coast of Myrtle Beach and into the Carolinas. So 2 possibly if it stays out over the water and causes some upwelling to occur. And then on Sunday, still as a tropical storm into central portions of South Carolina. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Obviously, we're watching Isaac too, and that's getting blown apart. It's moving so fast that the storms are having a hard time keeping up with it. We'll have all the details on all this coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. You're looking live at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where the powerful Category 3 storm Hurricane Florence moves closer to North and South Carolina. The National Weather Service says the storm will likely be the storm of a lifetime for portions of the Carolina coast and could be the strongest to hit the Carolinas since Hugo in 1989. Millions of coastal residents are leaving ahead of that storm, which is expected to make landfall sometime tomorrow evening or Friday. Now, Sarasota County rescue crews have arrived in Raleigh, North Carolina ahead of this storm. Sarasota County Government Emergency Services shared this photo on their Twitter. 3 EMTs and 3 paramedics from Sarasota County Fire Rescue made that trip. The American Red Cross also plans to send crews throughout the next few days. Now remember, if you still need to get a plan in place for this hurricane season, we're here for you. Just go to our website, mysuncoast.com, click under the weather tab, and you'll find a link to our 1-hour hurricane special called Surviving the Storm. Also a printable 2018 hurricane guide with lots of useful information.
Well, now we continue our red tide coverage. Reports say it's not as bad as it has been these past few months, but it is still lingering all along the Suncoast.
And now it's putting a damper on popular events in our local communities. ABC 7's Rebecca Fernandez joins us live now from Venice with the latest on how this toxic algae is continuing to impact the island there. Rebecca?
Yeah, September is traditionally a very busy month here in Venice with a lot of annual community events. But with this red tide still lingering, some of those plans will be changing. For starters, the city's monthly 6-mile bike ride has been canceled for September. Officials did not want residents riding for such a long period of time inhaling the toxins. This weekend's Battle of the Bridges Rowing Regatta, which is being held in Venice for the very first time, is shortening the duration of the event to only 4 hours instead of the entire day. And the organizers for the annual Venice Beach Bash that is scheduled for next weekend are still deciding what to do if these conditions continue. And tonight at 6, you'll get to hear from some of these leaders on why this has caused such a tide for the community and how they plan on hosting these events in the near future. For now, live in Venice, Rebecca Fernandez, ABC 7, your Suncoast News. Back to you guys.
Rebecca, thank you. The plan to build a new science and education aquarium in Sarasota is moving forward. Mote Marine Lab officials working with Sarasota County to build the multi-million-dollar facility at Nathan Benderson Park. This week, county commissioners approved Mote's request to separate its land lease request from its financial support request. Mote is trying to secure a long-term lease for 9 acres of land to build and operate that facility. More nonstop flights are coming to the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport. Frontier Airlines adding a nonstop flight from SRQ to Atlanta. That new service will begin December 10th and will be offered on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Frontier says the fares will start as low as $39 each way. And for a list of the flight times, just go to our website, mysuncoast.com. Jacqueline joins us now with President Trump's efforts to plan for Hurricane Florence. Jacqueline.
Scott, as millions leave the hurricane zone in the southeast, the president is urging everyone to take Florence seriously and assuring them that his administration is prepared and ready for anything. Earlier today, President Trump said the federal government is prepared to help in any way that's needed. FEMA is working closely with state governments ahead of the storm, which President Trump says is unlike anything we've seen in nearly 30 years.
We're fully prepared, food, medical, everything you can imagine, we are ready. But despite that, bad things can happen when you're talking about a storm this size.
But even as he prepares for the coming storm, yesterday the president set off a firestorm by touting his administration's response to Hurricane Maria. The storm devastated Puerto Rico and was the deadliest hurricane in modern American history, but he said Puerto Rico was, quote, an incredible unsung success. The Federal Drug Administration is taking steps to help end the so-called youth e-cigarette epidemic. The agency sent 1,100 warning letters to stores for illegally selling e-cigarettes to minors. It also issued 131 fines to stores that continue to violate those restrictions on sales to minors. The head of the FDA calling the action the largest coordinated enforcement effort in the agency's history. And he said, quote, the disturbing and accelerating trajectory of use we're seeing in youth and the resulting path to addiction must end. It is simply not tolerable. The EPA is proposing a rollback of Obama-era regulations on methane gas leak inspections and repairs. Energy companies are now required to inspect drilling equipment for leaks every 6 months, but the new proposal would allow for inspections once a year or in some cases every 2 years. Drillers are also supposed to fix methane leaks within 30 days. That new ruling would give them 60 days. The acting EPA director calling the rules excessive regulatory burdens and that getting rid of them would save nearly $500 million. Well, let's send it back to Scott with the latest on Florida's political climate. Scott?
Jacqueline, one of Florida's best-known political commentators in Sarasota this morning to talk about that political climate. Retired USF professor and political analyst Dr. Susan McManus stopped by our studios on the way to a speech at Michaels on East. McManus said the current state of politics is attracting attention, increasing turnout, but turning off a lot of people as well. She says some of the people being turned off by politics are younger voters.
Yeah, we see this younger generation is tending to register as no party affiliation because they don't like what seems to be the immovable picture that they see for both of the two mainstream parties.
McManus also said to be aware of the polls and surveys as more Republicans are prone to keep their opinions quiet until they get in the voting booth, as we saw in the 2016 presidential election. Well, Florida keeps setting records in the number of tourists visiting the state. State tourism officials say an estimated 65 million people came to Florida during the first 6 months of the year. That's a 5.9% increase over the same time period last year. Most of those visiting Florida are coming from other states. The preliminary estimates show 58 million people were domestic visitors, meaning they're from the U.S., while 5 million came from overseas, and then another 2 million came here from Canada. Still ahead at 4, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office unveiling a new tool to keep you and your family safe. Plus, floodwaters in San Antonio, Texas sweep a teenage boy downstream, leaving him hanging to a branch for dear life. And as Americans came together to honor those who lost their lives on 9/11, a majestic creature that symbolizes our country's strength decided to swoop in for a cameo.
40 Carats Family Center and the Community Foundation of Sarasota County present a free speaker event, Unselfie, Why Empathetic Kids Succeed in Our All About Me World, featuring parenting educator and author Michelle Borba at Riverview High School on Tuesday, September 25th at 7 p.m. Help children become successful, moral, courageous, and resilient. RSVP required at 40carats.org. That's FORTY carats.org.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Attention. On January 1st, 2018, the United States Tax Cut Act officially became law. This law also changes Obamacare. If you are uninsured or struggling to afford your current health insurance, there is now immediate relief. Health insurance that's not high-priced Obamacare is now available. Call the Health Insurance Helpline now. It's free. The cost for health insurance has been a serious problem in America, but now the law has changed. So many people don't get the insurance they need because they just don't call. Don't spend money you don't have to spend. Call now. It's free. If you are uninsured or unable to pay for ACA coverage, call the Health Insurance Helpline now. Get what you deserve. Call to see if you qualify for health care or dental coverage that starts immediately. Don't delay. Call now. It's free. Call 800-307-8167, 800-307-8167. Call 800-307-8167 now.
Kettle's got it. Kettle's got it. Kettle's got what you're looking for at Kettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Kettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Kettle's got that too. Kettle's got it. Visit Kettle.com.
For upscale dining with an unparalleled Gulf view, find your way to Finn's at Sharkey's. Finn's at Sharkey's, breaking the surface of extraordinary dining.
New developments now in a death investigation out of Manatee County that detectives are calling suspicious. Detectives say Nelson Navarro is a person of interest in the death of Maria De Jesus. Detectives found De Jesus bleeding outside the Center Court Apartments on September 3rd. She died from her injuries on Saturday. The sheriff's office says Navarro was the longtime boyfriend of De Jesus and was arrested on a warrant for grand theft auto and remains in jail now in Georgia. Navarro has not been charged yet in connection with Maria's death. A teacher at Bloomingdale Senior High School in Valrico and Pinellas County is behind bars after deputies say he placed a camera inside a classroom to record a student undressing. Mark Ackett is charged with video voyeurism. Deputies say Ackett admitted to putting the camera inside a changing room in the school's fashion design classroom where a female student was undressing. Detectives say there could be more victims. There's a new tool keeping Sarasota County residents safe. Today, the Sheriff's Office launching its first drone. ABC7's Jess Dowdrick was there for that, and she joins us now live from Nathan Benderson Park to explain how this drone is helping sheriff's deputies. Jess?
Scott, this drone is the first for any law enforcement agency in Sarasota County, and today it was put to the test. It was launched here at Nathan Benderson Park as part of a mock missing child scenario. In this staged operation, deputies were called to the park for a missing 12-year-old boy wearing a red shirt that disappeared during a crowded event. Instead of having deputies search on foot for that child, the department launched the Dragonfly Commander drone, and within minutes were able to spot this missing child. It's search and rescue missions like this where deputies say the drone will be the most resourceful. Now, coming up at 6, I'll take you to the middle of this search operation and show you how this drone helped them find the missing boy. For now, reporting live in Sarasota County, Jess Dowdrick, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Jess, thank you so much. Let's get to Jacqueline now in the newsroom with a look at what's trending today.
Scott, firefighters in Minnesota had an unbelievable experience during a memorial to commemorate the anniversary of September 11th.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Firefighters gathered to remember when an eagle landed on top of a fire truck. Attendees paused to take in that moment before the eagle flew away. Andover Fire Chief Jerry Strike captured the video on Facebook Live. It has already been viewed over 2.4 million times. A 17-year-old boy is said to be fortunate to have survived after being pulled from floodwaters in San Antonio, Texas. It's believed the teenage boy had been hanging onto a branch for nearly an hour. The boy lost his footing and was swept away by the swift-moving current.
Hey, Raven, hold on! Hold on!
Got him. Got him.
That's good, Kenny. That's good. That's good.
Antonio Fire Department brought in one of its boats to reach him, and not before long he was back on dry ground.
Don't walk near floodwaters. Don't walk near creeks, near drainage areas, because it's even more dangerous. It takes far less water to sweep a person off than it does a vehicle.
Lesson being, turn around, don't drown. It doesn't just mean for motorists. We've said it a bunch of times. Let's check in now with Bob for a look at your forecast this hour.
Well, unfortunately, I think those scenes that you just saw there in Texas are going to be played out over the next week in parts of the Carolinas, all the way down into Georgia as a result of the tremendous amount of rainfall that Florence is going to bring to that area. So there'll be a lot of rescues going on as a result of flash flooding there. We could see, again, the forecast is still anywhere from 20 to 30 inches in a fairly large area. Right now, it's too difficult to tell exactly where that area is going to be, but it's going to be somewhere in South Carolina or North Carolina for that matter. The storm is weakening. That's a good thing. It's down to a Category 3, but each time it goes through this phase where it kind of expands and contracts, it creates a wind field that gets a little stronger. So widespread power outages also going to be a huge deal with this storm. We're going to see that wind field very strong. We're going to see possibly 150 miles out from the center. We'll see a strong tropical storm, if not hurricane force winds. Right now, the gusts are up to 160. The winds have come down to 125. Those are the sustained winds around that eye wall. As it makes its way off to the northwest, there's a chance it could strengthen. Again, the intensity forecasts are not all that reliable. You know, at this time yesterday, this was supposed to be a 155-mile-an-hour storm. Today, it's 125, so there's a big spread there. And so although it says a 4, there's a chance it could still be a 3 or could be a little higher, but I doubt it. Now, it's going to be going over some warmer water here, and there'll be a window for about 24 hours where the upper-level winds will be somewhat conducive for it to strengthen. And then as it gets closer to the coast, there's a little bit more shear going on. On top of that, it looks as though the upwelling, due to the fact the storm will be moving so slowly, will cool the waters underneath it, and that means it's not going to strengthen much as it gets closer to the coast. But then there's a wide spread of where it could be. Landfall is going to be very difficult because in this cone of uncertainty, the center could be here on into Friday, or the center could be over land on Friday in the top part of that cone of uncertainty. The best guess is to keep it on a southwesterly course, and it looks like near Myrtle Beach, possibly making landfall on Saturday. But as I said, it could be as early as Friday. Storm still could be a Category 3 as it nears the coast of North Carolina. Then it just kind of sits out here for 3 days in that cone of uncertainty. Once again, that is a very large spread, over 100 miles on either side of that cone. In fact, over 150 miles on either side of that cone. It could be down all the way into Georgia, for that matter. That's just the models are having a difficult time in pinpointing exactly where that storm is going to be due to the fact that the upper level winds will be so light and variable. There are surge warnings out, as you can see, all along the Carolina coast, all the way down into South Carolina this evening. And here's the look of that spread of the winds as they make their way in. This is the yellow winds are the tropical storm force, the hurricane force winds there, and the red, the deep red, is the winds that you'll see up to 100 miles an hour possibly as it skirts along the Carolina coast. And the rainfall is going to be excessive in South Carolina and North Carolina. Elsewhere in the tropics, we're still watching this system trying to develop here in the Gulf of Mexico. Isaac's not looking very healthy at all. It's racing off to the west and leaving all the storms behind it. It's pretty much void of thunderstorms. It's moving to the west at 21 miles an hour. And it looks like now most of the models agree that it will dissipate down here, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Forecast models trending now toward the west-northwest. Once it kind of dissipates there in the central Caribbean, it too is all over the place, possibly bringing us some moisture down the road, but not a big concern at this point. For boaters, winds will be out of the east, turning to the northwest at 5 to 10 knots. The extended forecast then, 40% chance for scattered showers and storms. It looks like as we move through the period, not much over the weekend, fairly dry there. High temperatures right around 89. Be sure to download the ABC7 weather app, First Alert weather app, that is. Just go to your web store and do a search for WWSB First Alert weather, and you should be able to find it fairly easy. If you're not, give me a call. We'll see if we can get it for you. You can track all the storms with it and check out what's happening with our local weather as well.
Well, Bob, a federal declaration of emergency has been issued for the Carolinas as Florence turns its way towards that area. Hurricane not only expected to land with a punch, but the storm's impact is expected to be felt long after. While those in Florence's path are stocking up on necessities, companies around the country, including here on the Suncoast, are gearing up to help in the storm's wake.
And supply store giants Home Depot and Lowe's have both activated hurricane command centers to make sure the area stores are well stocked before and after, but the most important things, the officials say, is that residents on the coast are heeding their warnings and evacuating if they're in that zone.
Yeah, definitely. Well, an even stronger super typhoon is barreling down on Southeast Asia with Hong Kong square in its path. Super typhoon Mangkhut is expected to intensify as it moves toward the northern Philippines, southern China, and Hong Kong. It's currently equivalent to a Cat 5 Atlantic hurricane with winds at last check at 175 miles an hour. The Global Disaster Alert and Coordination System reports up to 43 million people could be affected by the storm in the Philippines and southern China.
And the Hong Kong's observatory tracking system shows a 70% chance the tropical cyclone will deviate from its predicted path over the next 4 days. Super typhoon Mangkhut is forecast to be stronger than any of the previous storms, warranting Hong Kong's highest warning signal ever.
They're happening all over, aren't they, Bob? Yeah. All right, thank you, Bob. Still to come in your Suncoast News, more than a month after it was forced to close, the downtown cat adoption center in Bradenton is ready to reopen and offering some specials.
I'm Joey Panic from Suncoast View. Coming up Thursday morning at 9, whether you're downsizing after the kids head to college or you're just taking the opportunity to streamline your home storage, we have a local professional organizer who's going to give us tips to start cutting through the clutter in our homes. Plus, it is never too late to pick up a new instrument. The teachers at Music Compound teach us the joys of making music with ukulele lessons. All of this is coming up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Hello, Mom.
Amanda's mom's appointment just got rescheduled for today. Amanda needs Right at Home. Our customized care plan provides as much or as little help as her mom requires, whether it's a ride to the doctor or help around the house.
Oh, of course. Tom, I am really sorry. I've got to go.
Look, call Right at Home. Get the right care right at home.
Judy here, I think hospice was a tremendous source of support for her.
Absolutely. With Jennifer and Kimberly and Liza's constant contact with us, coming in, just knowing that there was someone with knowledge there to back us up, to answer our questions, it made a world of difference.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TruStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
The Downtown Cat Adoption Center is ready to reopen this week and celebrating with some adoption specials. The Downtown Cat Adoption Center on Manatee Avenue West will reopen Friday, and to celebrate their reopening, there are multiple adoption specials to encourage the community to take home a new furry friend or even two. Adoption fees will be waived for military, first responders, and veterans until the end of the year. And if you adopt one cat or kitten for $20, you can get a second free through September 29th. Also, anyone older than 55 can adopt a cat who's 7 years or older for $10 through the end of the year. All right, back to Jacqueline now in the newsroom with a look at some of the other stories we're working on tonight.
Scott, the future of Sarasota County's celery fields remain uncertain. Coming up tonight at 5, we'll hear what was discussed at the County Commission meeting today and what a group of community members have proposed. And at 6, protests will be underway for the planned development of the Siesta Promenade. We'll hear from participants and what the Planning Commission will discuss at their meeting. And tonight at 7, Sarasota and Manatee counties are detailing their security efforts at football games to keep players and families safe. Well, let's get a final check on our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're watching a few pop-up showers right now. It's been a really nice day. We had a nice east wind, too, that helped with the red tide, keeping everything mainly offshore as far as any kind of harmful effects. We do have this east wind with an east coast breeze making its way through our central communities right now. It's going to head off to the west, so we're going to keep a pretty good chance for a few showers in the forecast through this evening. For the next several hours, we'll see some pop-up showers. The sea breeze really hasn't penetrated too far inland because of that strong easterly wind, and whenever we get a strong east wind, we really warm up today. Temperatures into the mid-90s across the region. You can see that rainfall now just south of Venice and South Venice. Some showers there, one popping up near Nakoma. So generating some lightning too, and I kind of sensitized the radar a little bit to show you. There's the sea breeze right there. So it's west of I-75, and with that east wind coming over, we're going to see showers firing up mainly west of I-75. We'll have more coming up at 5. Scott?
Thank you so much, Bob. Thanks for joining us. ABC 7 News at 4. We'll see you again in 30 minutes.